What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner and 2018 Innovation Award winner from the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And I host the only online show in the world for fathers and dads that is sponsored by Dove Men Care and also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. And I am happy to say so far this year I've been able to reach out to 75,000 fathers around the world so far this year, which is something I'm very humbled and blessed to have the opportunity to do, but there's more to come. And I am the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is a multimedia not-for-profit that showcases Blacks in the diaspora. They're doing their thing in food, wine, and travel. You are watching The Morning Vibe on August 9th. And to my side, I don't know which side it is to you, but my side is Ryan Oneil Knight. What's going on, Ryan?
Yes, the mirror effect. I am doing fantastic. Good to see you, Dr. Vibe. Always a pleasure to start my morning with the Morning Vibe. And for those that don't know me, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage to, one, find out what stage they're in and then help them scale up their companies and hold them accountable to the blueprint that we create together. And of course, I am an entrepreneur myself. I run a social enterprise called Detailing Nights. So we are a mobile, waterless car cleaning service. We come to your house or your office, clean your car on the spot without using water and using our plant-based, eco-friendly cleaning supplies. Actually, shout out to one of our suppliers, Liquid Green, with Janet and Fred Cox. Awesome dynamic duo that is supporting and very supportive of the Black community and empowering us to, one, start our own businesses, and two, manufacture our own products. So just wanted to give them a quick shout out.
Fantastic. We haven't seen you for a bit. What's been going on?
Well, it hasn't been that long.
I thought I got confused. You were with us last Friday because a week ago, you were with us. What did you do on your weekend?
But I did check out this weekend. Yeah.
Yes.
So got to really spend a lot of time with the kids. We went on various walks and trips to the mall. Hey, yeah, the heat was better than being inside. I know being inside, we get kind of stir crazy. So just seeing Christian just get to run free and scream and just be a kid was awesome. And yeah, the weekend was fantastic. How about yourself? Did you make it out to the Scarborough store or not just yet?
Okay, so a few things. Actually, I made it close, but there's a method to my madness. No, weekend was pretty good. Had another great live conversation with Aisha K. Staggers and Jill Jones on Saturday night on State of Things. It really went good. I worked out yesterday.
Okay.
And which was really, really good. So it was good to sweat. And one of the best joys for me in working out is the shower I take after. Like I took a 15 to 20 minute shower, just enjoying it. Like I'm imagining that I'm at Dunn's River Falls, I wish I thought that's what I wish I did. Like I'm just visioning I'm in Dunn's River Falls doing the whole shower thing. And then had a conversation yesterday with Sarah Youngo, who's based in Ottawa, journalist who's been there for many years on Black Canada Talking. Then after that, I said, this company called Mob Seafood, they're always in the West, in Brampton. But for this weekend, they were at the Scarborough Town Center. Excuse me.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? Monique, who is the lady who's the driving force behind Mob Seafood, I said, you know what? I don't know how often they're going to be in the East.
True.
So I went out there and hung out with her for a while and her daughter. And she's doing amazing. Anyone in the GTA, please support Mob Seafood. Not only is their food good, their service is good, but Monique is doing the right things with the right heart. If you want to support a great Black business, Mob Seafood is it. So I hung out with her for about an hour and a half. I did an IG live last night, and it's really strange. For some reason, I don't do a lot of IG lives, but when I do IG lives and I'm eating, people seem to want to watch it. I don't understand this.
Hey, they have a whole food channel. People love just watching other people engage food.
So I had some chicken wings and I had some and festival, and it was really good. And interesting, and maybe you and I can help her. She has a challenge, unfortunately, coming up.
Okay.
Her son and her daughter, who've been helping her all summer in the food truck, are going back to school at the beginning of next month.
Yes.
And she needs to find good, reliable help.
Absolutely.
She did have someone, but they went and got another job. Finding good, reliable help. So I spoke to her, and we're going to have a conversation, I think, tomorrow night to see what way I can help her. But it was incredible. And she said the biggest challenge she has right now is getting permits because so many
being around town.
Yeah, because the thing is, because so many storefront restaurants are no longer, or they're also adding a food truck. So many places are adding food trucks. The permits have just gone. The request for permits just gone through the roof.
Right. So it's taking longer to get permits, or the price has gone up too?
I don't know about the pricing, but the process has become much longer. But it was really good to do that. And actually, I had something special happen on Saturday. I had a gentleman from the business community call me, and he said, he would rather have the relationship with me than all these other relationships he has with organizations. I went, wow.
There's a reason behind that.
I said, man, I feel like I'm in Ryan and Chris-Beth territory. I'm going, man, actually someone values me. But this gentleman has had an idea that he's been talking about for about a year or so when just discussing it in his mind with me. And then he said he had a dream on Sunday night and that God told him to do it now. And I was the person to do it with.
Very interesting. I had an interesting dream this weekend too. It was actually about our procurement minister, Anita Anand, and she was in a boxing ring, and she was boxing somebody, but I couldn't tell who she was fighting. But it was just interesting, and then I can't remember the rest. And it was just like, I wonder why her in a boxing ring fighting came to mind.
And people are fighting for you, Ryan. They're fighting for you.
Or maybe it was me and I was in first person point of view.
Oh, maybe.
Like, who's she fighting? Wait a minute, she's fighting. I don't know. But being able to support. Sorry, what was the name from Mob Seafood? Monique. That's really the reason that I love always bringing on our guest Chris-Beth, because
nice transition. Very good.
We want to be able to support these business owners, and that operations piece of it is usually where we fall apart. Now her children are going back to school. She needs to, maybe this is her first official hire. It's going to be an evolution of our business. So I'm glad to bring on Chris-Beth that's with us today to talk more about Empowered for X. And let's drop that question. How would you support Monique, somebody that's looking to make their first hire?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Vibe, Brian, for having me on the Morning Vibe show. I am super excited to be here. One of the things that, for the viewers, if you don't know, so my name is Chris-Beth Cowie, as was stated before. I run a business development center in Brampton, but because of COVID, all of our services are supported online. And we help entrepreneurs go from ideation to commercialization, looking at, their target market, really helping them get really clear on that. Because what we find is a lot of entrepreneurs, they want to sell to everybody, and I oftentimes bring them back to say, yes, you may think of yourself like to be like Jeff Bezos, the Amazon store. And, his first start out was a bookstore. So I say, instead of thinking about the everything store, that could be in a vision where you're going, what's your bookstore that you're building, right? And so really helping to ground them in the core principle. If you don't have people that you're serving, you don't have a business. When it comes to operations, which is another tenet that we look at, we really sit with our entrepreneurs and do what is called like a gap analysis. Okay, tell me, about day zero. How did you get to this point? Where did the vision and passion come from? What challenges your experiences? Where are you wanting to go? And through that process, getting inside of the mind of the entrepreneur to say, oh, because oftentimes most entrepreneurs become that solopreneur. They're opening the door at the beginning of the day. They're turning off the lights and closing the door as well. And really what we oftentimes find at that early stage, all of the processes is in the entrepreneur's head. So we really work with them to get those processes out of their head onto paper, documented in a way. And then we look at value points and gap points, or points in the system or processes that aren't really valuable. And then we start eliminating. We try to get processes down to 10, at least no more than 10 steps. Sometimes it's really difficult, but really if you're thinking, I have to do these 20 things to get one widget, that's really cumbersome. So really looking at simplifying the processes with them. So someone like Monique, we'll go through a gap analysis. Really what I'm hearing based on what you mentioned, Dr. Vibe, it's, making sure the process is on point. So whomever is coming in could just go through that checklist and work that process, looking at hire. So making a decision around who's coming on to the team. Dr. Vibe, when I was on previously, we talked about, I believe it was on my show, we talked about, making decisions around hiring someone, making sure that their values are in line, making sure that, they are able to be culturally fit with the vision of the organization. And then we are able to do the hiring and screening process for entrepreneurs that work in our communities as well.
Very, very thorough as per usual. I have an interesting question for you. I was speaking with a lady yesterday, and she said people are getting tired. Business people are tired of looking at screens. They want to do face-to-face. Yeah. Have you heard that with any of the business owners you've been chatting with?
Listen, it's a thing, we can Empowered Effects intends to remain in a hybrid model. So a lot of our trainings will happen online. But one of the clients on Friday, so we had our first conversation on Wednesday, and she's like, I'm booking this time for 3:00 on Friday, and I'm coming in because I want to see you. I want to see people. So, our doors are open. We're very grateful that the lockdowns are happening, but people are excited to, meet people, be able to give people hugs again in person, and really have conversations and figure out how we could collaborate side by side versus on screen like this. So yes, I'm hearing lots of that for sure.
I'm seeing that too. And it seems like getting back to that interpersonal is important to you as well. Because I know you enjoy seeing people and being in their presence. So where would you put emphasis on? Now that we're going to go to the hybrid model, would you put more emphasis on the expansion of the online and virtual, or would you put more emphasis on that really interpersonal connection and seeing people in person?
Yeah, and that is a great question. For us, the training for the most part will be online, and with our accelerator, which is our core business, that will be online. But we want to include like in-person component. So if you're, we're currently serving people across Canada with our business accelerator. So if you are, in the Brampton location, you could come out to a networking or drop-in event. Definitely want to have you there. People that are more local, they're beginning to rent out our rooms. So seeing and having those interactions with folks right now is really positive. I'm really excited about, getting some activity and foot traffic into our event room in particular. Our co-working space as well is seeing an uptick in terms of virtual membership, as well as part-time and full-time members also. So I continue to see us going truly hybrid. So online is core, and it's going to remain, essential to who we are as business owners and operators. But really facilitating that in-person energy is one of the things as well.
Go ahead, man.
It sounds like expansion is really important. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So one of the things, I mentioned we have a physical location in Brampton, and in that space, we offer, private offices, we offer virtual offices, we offer part-time and full-time desk space where people can come in and work together. We also have our event room. Before COVID happened, we envision having business consultants coming in and working with the entrepreneurs in that space. COVID happened and really forced us to really think about how do we build for scale. We had one location. Due to COVID, we have been able to open a virtual office in partnership with an organization in Ottawa. So we have a virtual office in Ottawa. We're looking at moving out to the east side, so Scarborough area, as well as Mississauga. So 2 new locations.
And Hamilton, don't forget Hamilton's
and Hamilton
in process.
Yeah, so I have Ryan negotiating a space in Hamilton for us. So potentially by the end of this year, we have 3 additional virtual locations happening. And what does that mean? If you're an entrepreneur, one of the things that we found is that people are using their home address to register and incorporate their business. Not a good practice. People can show up to your door. You don't want that type of hassle, and so having a virtual office creates a protection of sorts for you. We collect your mail for you. We let you know when your mail is available. You can come in and pick it up accordingly. And if you're in the Brampton region, if you need to meet a client in an office, we can facilitate that for you as well. So really excited about that. Expansion, looking at not just expanding our virtual locations across Canada and beyond, but really looking at our business accelerator, as I mentioned, really to help service-based entrepreneurs infuse technology to help them get access to investment and procurement opportunities with some of our partners. So we're really excited about that. And our vision around that is to have pockets. So perhaps, we have a virtual office in Ottawa, so we can start an Ottawa chapter around supporting entrepreneurs in that way. So really looking at leveraging the network that we have to make this move across the country.
It sounds like you're part of the Ryan Knight world domination team.
Hey, I honestly tell people when I met Ryan back in 2014 about I was like, this is magic. Somebody else thinks like me. And so we've been having some really amazing conversation. I think Ryan was like deep into Matrix and stuff like that. And so when he talked about world domination, it was almost like, we got to get out of the Matrix and like create our own. And so I was just like, this guy is like on fire and really doing amazing things, and I want to be aligned in many ways. So we've been fortunate, to form a partnership where we are serving entrepreneurs across the country and looking to expand globally in a meaningful way.
And with expansion, it comes with collaboration. And so I would love to hear more about organizations that you've already collaborated with that would help to grow. And I did want, maybe this will be after the break, to talk about your experience with trying to collaborate with organizations in the Black community specifically. But first, I'd love to hear more about other orgs that you have collaborated with. I know you were instrumental with Sheridan and their EDGE program as well.
Hey, I want to just give a shout out to Sheridan Edge. The director there, Renee Devereaux, is an amazing leader, supporting entrepreneurs to that ideation space, but really looking at diving deeper into social impact and impact entrepreneurship as a whole. So if you're a social entrepreneur looking for support, connect with Sheridan College. I'm a little biased, I love that space. But Sheridan would be one. The other one that I would like to shout out is CAMC, which is the Canadian Aboriginal Minority Supply Council with Cassandra. One of the things that sometimes as entrepreneurs, we aren't fully aware about the opportunities that are out there for us to grow and expand our business. Ryan, it's very interesting. You talk about, seeing the Minister of Procurement in your dream because, Cassandra is very passionate about procurement opportunities for, in particular, Black entrepreneurs and really using that tool to gain more capital, build capacity, all of those things. And we, through our business accelerator and even our consulting, able to walk you through that process. Most people, when they're thinking about procurement, they're like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can. And with us, you don't have to do anything alone. We walk through the process with you. So a shout out to those guys. I mean, the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce have been very instrumental in terms of some of the things that we're doing. So I want to definitely shout those guys out as well.
All right. Well, we're going to go to a break and come back on the second half, and Chris-Beth will be dropping some more knowledge bombs on us. You're watching The Morning Vibe on August 9th with Dr. Vibe and Ryan Oneil Knight. Back in a bit. Keep it locked.
Hi, my name is Ryan Oneil Knight, the founder of Detailing Nights and one of the founding members of Acbn Canada. Our vision is to help unite and educate Afrocentric entrepreneurs so they can grow their businesses in a successful and sustainable way. We're helping businesses increase their sales and operations by providing networking, training, and consulting. So as a business owner myself, I found it difficult to find like-minded individuals, especially in my own community, that were doing things on a regular basis to help our businesses grow. Acbn Canada is that solution. We've created this community to surround your business with support to help you increase your sales and your profits. With expert workshops and masterminds to help keep you accountable, come and join us and really get to the next level.
Welcome back, and we're having a great conversation as always with Chris-Beth Cowie. Chris-Beth, how has the summer been for you and some of your entrepreneurs? Because I did see that there was a launch event with one of your entrepreneurs, I believe, involving wine.
Yeah. Hey. Yes. Okay. Let me just say this. I am born on July 28th, 1988. You could do the math, figure out how old I am. I love summers, okay? July is the month of choice for me. I'm biased. But summer for entrepreneurs, what I've seen overall is that, people are trying to unplug, reconnect, spend time with family, spend time outdoor. I've definitely been taking advantage of that, spend some time camping as well. And yes, that's in a tent, on a blow-up mattress, okay? I love the outdoors, okay? So, yes.
Okay.
But we've been very privileged, as you may know, Dr. Vibe, in terms of supporting youth entrepreneurs. And we had the privilege of, helping these three cousins. So three cousins working on their business idea to launch their wine brand, Morera Collection. And what they had over the early on in July was a wine tasting to decide on which wines they start with first. Remember, like many people, I want to do it all. And I said, okay, what is
not everyone can be like Ryan, right?
Exactly. But really
they're better.
That process that we take entrepreneurs through, it's understanding, okay, how do you test for your product, the value that you're bringing to market. And that's what they did a couple weeks ago. And I was thoroughly blown away. Morero Collections is looking at doing their grand opening on September 25th. I would definitely share that information with you and your audience. You're definitely welcome to come out as well.
No, it's interesting you say that. And it came up in a conversation I was having on my IG Live last night. I was a long-time digital, I guess, young gentleman who treats you like a mentor. He's in Calgary and he's doing fairly well for himself. But he says, "Oh, I'm not really hitting the mark, this, that, and the other thing." And I asked, he's into this. He goes, "I don't know where to go next." And I asked him, he has a lot of followers. I think he has at least 20 to 30,000 followers. And I said, "Have you done a survey?" "No." And I said, "Well, maybe that's where you want to start, or even better, take 10 of your best members of your community and do a digital focus group with them." I like what those young people did, what you were talking about. They did a test to see where they should go, be customer focused and customer driven. So that's excellent.
Yes, it is core to success. We are ultimately doing this for the people, right? And so if we're bringing something to market that nobody wants, it's going to be a fight to say, get this thing down your throat. You need to get, but if they say, listen, I want that, you have the lineups, right? And that's really what they went from 18 bottles, and that testing was 6 bottles. So they had 6 bottles, and then the decision was then to start with their first 2. So that's what we're going to have at the grand opening on the 25th.
Man, it sounds like you have shares in this venture. You say, where? It's like you got shares in this.
Listen, my contribution is definitely showing up and giving advice where I can at this point in time. No, but who knows where we go next.
And that's interesting too, where you talk about shares in the company, Dr. Vibe, because that should be something that we start thinking more about. We have these young, ambitious, family-oriented entrepreneurs. What could the community do to invest into them? And we always talk about expansion and growing. Imagine this company 5 years from now is on the stock exchange. It would be amazing to be able to invest in them now and help them get to that kind of level. So I was curious, with Empowered for X, Chris-Beth, have you thought of that investment type approach to working with entrepreneurs in your network?
Hey, most definitely. And, through our accelerators, it is a 6-month process that we work with an entrepreneur. So you come into our doors, we do that gap analysis. The program from the first cohort to the current cohort and subsequent cohorts have changed a little. So we start off with a gap analysis. We then work with you for those additional months to really, fine tune your process, build your business plan, all of the things that's needed to get you ready for a pathway for procurement or investment. And yes, when you've worked with us for 6 months, we now have that rapport. I know what's under the hood, right? I could tell, I could vouch for you based on what's happening. And we are exploring some investment opportunities in that way with the companies that we work. At this point, we're still formulating how that exactly would be rolled out, but people have raised their hand to say, who've you been working with? I got some money. Let's put it to that company. So just making sure that the legalities that we're going through right now, it's win-win-win for everyone that shows up at the table.
Oh, so there could be an announcement before the end of the year.
Hey.
on top of the wine announcements. Okay, all right.
Listen, honestly, I love entrepreneurship. It is not an easy road, I
just want to interrupt you. What do you like more, camping or entrepreneurship?
Campreneurship. Actually, I've been thinking about a business venture in that industry. So
there you go.
It is, yeah, I feel like for the people that love to be outdoors. But one of the things that I really took away from this summer is, when you're camping, you got to be outdoors, unplug from work, take time away from work. You can't try to do a hybrid. I was actually attempting to answer phone calls and do my daily show in the woods. I thought it would have a good effect, but the signal was bad, and so decide to unplug.
Okay.
But I honestly could say, like, in terms of, what I love about entrepreneurship is you get an opportunity to create something, connect with people in a meaningful way. And ultimately, my goal is to make a positive difference, connecting what I do with a cause of, supporting, empowering youth. One is very core to who I am. And, looking at poverty in general, I'm really diving into how our venture could be aligned as a social enterprise to move change and make change happen within our community.
Wonderful.
And I know we listened to Jim Rohn, and he talks about when you're at work, be at work, and when you're at the beach, be at the beach. And for you, when you're out in the woods, be in the woods and not trying to multitask. And so what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs? And I'm trying to learn this around unplugging. So tips to unplug and decompress and get rooted back in, like, not relaxation, but taking a break.
Hey, honestly, what I have found for myself, and I like to tell people, you know what works for you. And if you don't know what works for you, try some stuff, right? And so for me, it's, that mental space. As you said, work, I show up here, and all right now is screen time. When I unplug, it's away from the screens, right? Spending time with family, spending time by myself, really being contemplative and reflective of where I've been, where I want to go. In this space of really unplugging, my one advice, I stopped using the word reset, and I think I might have shared that before. Instead of saying I'm gonna reset, take some time off and reset, because when you think about reset, you're going back to what was, right? The word that I've been using is recalibrate. You're on a journey. Your GPS sometimes goes off the chain and it says recalibrating. And I invite people to recalibrate. And what that looks like for me is sitting down with my goals again and asking the questions, okay, what have you accomplished? Where are you wanting to go? What lessons have you learned? What, advancement have you made? And then making calculated decisions. How do you move the dial forward when you plug back into work? So really spending some time with my journal, being outdoors by the water. I'm a beach person as well. So I was camping by the beach, so all of those full circle. But, just with a notebook, I say take off the computer screens, get a notebook and, pen to paper if you're that type of person, and make it happen.
One of the things I share with people is taking a break is part of the process. Yes. And for those who know anything about like racing, there's races like the Indianapolis 500 where drivers have to go 500 miles to finish the race. But no driver finishes on one tank of gas.
Oh, wow.
They have to go in for a few pit stops,
right,
and get refueled, re-energized. So it's part of the process. And the thing is, and people think, oh well, you're taking time off, you're not going. Well, you know what? You need a break.
Yes.
You need a break to. And sometimes you need to put some latitude in your attitude before you make that U-turn. So I fully agree. And you're talking about beach. Actually, I was at a beach in Mississauga on Friday. Ooh. So, and it was a really nice break and away from the screens and all that and just hanging out. So I fully agree on that.
Yeah, time blocking is definitely, you're thinking about your schedule. And I wouldn't say that I have perfected it. One of the things that I am working on is really, carving out think time. I look at my calendar and I see meetings. I'm just in conversations. I'm working on stuff. So making sure you carve out some time to think, making sure you carve out some time to work. And those are, looking at the calendar this week, I feel very grateful because I was able to spend some time yesterday really thinking about my week in full, saying, okay, what am I going to do when? And it's still the summer. So I'm kind of like excited to be back at work, but I'm outside in the sun. You know, like I'm as soon as I can get some sun, I'm taking it.
Good stuff.
And I love that analogy with the Indy 500 because you can't finish the race on one tank of gas. But I was also talking with one of our past guests, Errol Gibbs, that talked about the manifesto before. And over the weekend, he was talking about businesses not being optimized and cars. And he used, I think, NASCAR as an example. Those cars are fully optimized. Like they are running at maximum capacity. And a lot of our businesses aren't optimized. And I was curious to find out from Chris-Beth, when you're talking to entrepreneurs, what are you seeing that's typically the thing that's not optimized that you help them get optimized? Like what helps a person run their business most effectively?
Well, I think, you know, looking at race car analogy to people, we are not race cars. And I think, you know, the point of even the race cars need a break. And so what I like to talk about for that entrepreneur is looking at your life holistically, right? And being, I think that first and foremost is grounded. Many entrepreneurs that we work with have families, you know, they have things that make them happy, and making sure that when you look at your life and how you're working, the grind and hustle mentality 20 hours a week sometimes is the culture that we want to foster, but it is not sustainable, right? And so first and foremost, ensuring that you are well, because when you're not well, your business is not well, right? And so that is really core to one of the things that we see. How are you managing your time? The second thing when we look at, you know, optimization is, you know, is the stuff documented? And I think I mentioned that before. It's all in the head. As the entrepreneur, you know, a book that we love is Michael Gerber's E-Myth. He talks about most of us get what is called the entrepreneurial seizure. We then become the visionary, we become the manager, and become the technician. So we're doing everything. So imagine all of that is on us, right? And so the thing for optimization for entrepreneurs, we need to get in our mind, we have to leverage the talents, the skills, and abilities of others in order to move faster. We cannot do this alone, right? And so what we've seen is entrepreneurs, they want to get stuff off their table, but they want to still hold on to all of the responsibilities that is aligned with that. I talk about the 5 Ds of leadership: deciding what you want to do, and that ties to the direction you want to go, the vision that you have. As the entrepreneur, you got to do some stuff. You have to be able to delegate some stuff. And that's where we see that a lot of time and conversation needs to be spent in terms of what can you put off, what can you hand off to someone? And you know, Olympics are happening. I think of it like the relay. You might be the first leg, second leg, third leg, the anchor, right? Remember, it's a team that is needed in order to complete that race. And so once you've delegated some stuff, you have to dump. And so I say, you know, put some stuff, you know, off the table. This is not in alignment with the vision and stuff. And then sometimes you need to delay stuff. You're passionate about it, but based on your resources, time, all of these things, it cannot be done today or in the next six months. So let's put it off to have a conversation at a future date. So really looking at those tenets around optimization, having a clear direction, starting to build an effective team to support the vision, and making some decisions around delegating and putting some stuff off.
Hold on, I think I counted 4 Ds. So it was decide, do, delegate, dump,
and delay.
Delay. Oh, okay, yes. Got that last one. Awesome.
Well, we're getting leadership talks too now by Chris-Beth. She's just sliding them in. Multi-talented, multifaceted business leader and individual. I definitely agree with a number of things that Chris-Beth, in fact, but especially the entrepreneurs not wanting to ask for help. I think that's a big deterrent. And I think sometimes entrepreneurs have to get out of their own way. And I always ask entrepreneurs, you know, what are the top 3 things that consume your time, and what would your life look like if you could delegate those to somebody else? You know, you want to make decisions that either make you money, save you money, or get back your time. And more entrepreneurs that I speak with, they want their time back.
Yes.
And since I work in the automotive industry, I still love that analogy. And the one piece that I just started thinking about is there is no race car driver that could win any of these races without a team. And then it brought me back to Monique. And so she's looking to build her team. And I remember when we first brought you onto the Morning Vibe, we had talked about questions you could ask potential hirees. So now it's been a few months. What would be some advice to Monique around obtaining that first hire? Some questions to help her find a reliable, strong-suited candidate.
Yeah, I mean, we typically ask questions around, what experience are you bringing to the table? How would you describe your strengths? What is some of the weaknesses? Looking at what, for us, we build a culture of fun. But remember, you're in customer service. And one of the things that I want to say to people, especially our Black, food franchisors and franchisees, foodpreneurs, customer service is key to your business.
Yeah.
And so if you're bringing on someone that, has a very cold demeanor, angry demeanor, listen, they're not the right fit. They're not representing you and your business properly. So make some tough decisions. Say, no, thank you. You hold out until you get someone that aligns. That essence is very core, right? So really asking about customer relationship type of questions. How do you handle conflict? And one of the things that I realize as well is that many people ask the questions. So you could ask the questions, but not necessarily check. I tell people, pick up the phone and do the reference check, right? So you're asking for work experience. You could even ask for a personal reference as well, right? So you get that hybrid, and it's always interesting to see who they give as the personal reference as well. So I find that a bit intriguing. The other thing is, either in her situation, she's doing some role play scenarios, or she is saying, okay, I'm going to test your skills with XYZ. Do a video recorded. Mind you, the store is probably in person and all of these things, but you want to see how that person shows up. You want to see how that person interacts. So video screening is so important at this point in time as well. So those would be some of the things I would share.
I would add some things onto it, and I'll definitely mention these things to her. I would ask the person, where do they see themselves 3 years from now?
Yeah.
And also, I would probably take them out on an event and do it, and have them do it. Put them in the heat of the fire at an event and see how they work out. Not only how do they work in the food truck, how do they work with customers,
Yes.
and also how do they work with her?
Yes. Yeah, that skill testing piece is very core to any hire that's coming on. And I think you could only, the live in action is so important, right? So, the person will be like, why are you taking me to an event? The reality is, every day, people you've never met before is going to be in your face. How do you interact, right? So yeah. I think that is a great one.
Yeah, I think, and not only how do they work with each other?
Yes.
And I would say to her, look, if the person is shit and you think it's a good hire, say, okay, let's go out to an event together and let's see how it all works out. Yeah. And if it works out good, we'll move forward. If not, hey, I'll still pay you. Yeah. But we need to know how it's going to work out. I think it's a very important thing to put that person in a test environment or a real life environment to know that. And I also would say now to individuals like Monique, but customer service is not finished at the sale. And again, a lot of entrepreneurs are solopreneurs, but keeping the loyalty and retention, do they have a mailing list? Do they have a place where they have all their clients they can reach out to? And I know a lot of them have Instagram accounts, which is great. Yeah. But the thing is, you're relying on that person to come there. Yeah. You should also create a newsletter, etc., where you want to be the offensive, not the defensive. So I think if you can control your communication with your clients after the sale, That is important. Like a picture is great, but someone sees a picture, they may not ever look at it again.
Yes.
And if that is one thing that anybody watching this replay live could take away, especially if you're in the restaurant industry, Instagram is a terrible CRM. It's a terrible
the algorithm is very difficult to figure out. That's why I don't do a lot of IG lives.
Yeah, you can't capture proper information with Instagram. You have to, like you said, get them into an email list or some sort of proper CRM. Just
you want to control the engagement, not the platform.
Relying on Instagram.
Hey, I love it, because one of the things that we tell our entrepreneurs that we work with, even Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these things, you may have the followers, you may have the engagement, which is great, but it may not convert to a sale, right? People like, but it means nothing in terms of you feeding your family or feeding your team during this time period. And so using it as a tool to leverage to bring that sale, right? So once you have that you're DMing that person right away saying, hey, thank you so much for liking my page. Can you send me, do you want to stay connected? Can I get your email? All of those things, because you now control, once you have an email, that is the data that you control. You can plug them into various things, right? And so moving off of Instagram is what I encourage.
I would say to people, pay special attention to people who comment. Like it's one thing, but people who comment,
yes,
they've gone the extra mile. Nothing against the people who do their likes, but the people that comment, those are the people you really need to engage with.
Yes, yeah, most definitely.
Well, it was nice to get a Chris-Beth masterclass.
I love it. I'm really grateful for being here, and for the entrepreneurs that are looking today and in the future. I think it is a wonderful journey that you're on, surrounding yourself with people like Dr. Vibe, Ryan Knight, or myself. There are people that are really wanting to see you win in the community, and you do not have to do this alone, and that's why we exist. And so thank you so much for having me here on the show today.
No problem. And if you want, all roads lead to Empowered Ford X. And if you're watching this live on the replay, the website address is on the screen, and that's how you can get a hold of the master camper, or the master entrepreneur camper.
Yes. What they call the master campreneur?
Yeah, the master campreneur.
Camper.
Yes. Yeah. I remember a little while back, I used to have a lady on the show, Leah, can't remember her last name. And she works for the United States government, and every year her and her family spend a year in a different country. But she always brought up this term blamping. I had never heard it before, like 2 years ago, but now I'm hearing it more often. So you have to become our resident camping expert now.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Awesome.
So, go pitch to Dick's Sporting Goods in the States or the places up here. And but there is a market there, especially for Black individuals.
Hey.
No one's doing it.
Yes.
I'm being serious. No one. They probably don't even think that market exists.
Very true.
But we will let you go and let you go slay. We will catch you soon.
Hey, thank you so much.
Bye-bye. So, Mr. Knight, was great getting a masterclass today by you and Chris-Beth.
Hey, I was here taking a couple notes too. Loved it.
Good. So what's on tap for this week?
This week we are, debriefing the last week. We were working on that Canada Digital Adoption Program grant. So we got about 30 organizations to come on board, and we submitted together a joint application. So really using that as the genesis of the full, more needed conversation, and continuing this conversation and making sure that we keep working together going forward. So we're going to be scheduling a follow-up meeting with everyone to just get their thoughts. Hey, that application, we had to kind of get it in quickly. So now what could we do together collecting our thoughts and really being purposeful. So I'm looking forward to that. And we are starting our ACBN marketing masterclass on the 11th, which is Wednesday. So is that Wednesday? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So starting Wednesday, we are going to be taking people through. So Mapdom is who we partnered with. That is a marketing agency that also has supported ACBN. So if you see our website and our social media, they have supported us in putting together our own brand kit. Brand guide, our marketing strategy for 18 months out. So if you like what ACBN does with our marketing, be sure to be part of this masterclass, because it's going to really take you deep into how to improve your marketing. And there's 4 days of it.
Excellent.
Yeah. So how's the week shaping up for you, sir?
It's interesting. It's a little bit more controlled this week, yes. but it's interesting. It seems like a number of people are taking a break and saying, you know what, I'm not really doing anything till the end of the month. It seems a lot corporately. I've heard, I'm hearing through that a lot of corporate people are basically taking a break till the end of the month. But that's when I like to go really accelerate, when people are relaxing. I'm speaking by the end of the month. We'll have some things I'm working on. 2 significant opportunities. One involves 4 figures. Another one is a little bit down the road, but and the other one could be 5 figures, but that's down the road. But I want to start the work on it now.
Absolutely.
So that's happening. And as usual, doing my coaching mentoring class tonight with people all around the world, which is a lot of fun.
Excellent.
And that's about it. And actually, I have to get mentally ready because I'm losing my interns at the end of the month.
Okay,
and
yes.
all the work that they've been doing, I'm gonna go, I gotta do it now.
Right? Feeling Monique's pain.
Yeah, well, I'm diligently trying to get some capital so I can at least keep one of them on going forward on a contract basis, because all 3 of them have been absolutely fantastic. Like, I mean, they've been allowed me to do a lot of great things, and certainly output wise, really they get it. And I wish, so I'm seeing how I can find ways of keeping them on the team going forward. And that's another thing I just want to add with people, as Chris-Beth, master camper, master business lady. Also, if you're bringing someone on board, ask them what you can do for them.
Right. Yes, you've mentioned that.
It should not be just a one-way relationship when you bring someone on board. And we'll finish up quick here. That Ryan doesn't have a tie on today, so I don't think it's at 10 o'clock, but I'll make it quick. That when I brought these interns on, I asked each one of them, like, how can I help you? And they said, I don't know. So what I've been able to do is I've introduced them to 2 different people in my community that they could actually ask questions from. One is a gentleman that's based in Toronto who has been doing documentaries for the last 10 or 15 years. They loved having him on. And then last week, there's a gentleman, Ernest White, who does a series called Fly Brother, where he travels to different cities around the world. So it's his own travel show. And he actually had his first season broadcast on PBS.
Yes.
So they were just blown away with him. And he said to me after he told me after, these young people have brought me back my faith in young people. And and he told them, hey, if they want to do a part 2, no problem. So they're all energized about that. So don't make it just like if you're getting back to customer service, customer relations, make sure it's a 2-way relationship, and if you can add value, because all these young people that I have on board, they're just blown away. They're saying, like, we weren't expecting this in an internship to ask people we want to be, ask them questions.
And getting that access will help them along.
And they all have their email address, so they can contact them going forward. So that is another. I'm glad that Chris-Beth gave me clearance to add that. Thank you, Chris-Beth. I know that I can see her in the green room. She's smiling, so that is all good. We are going to be back on Friday. I like to leave as much as possible with a little message. So today, the message is: this is where your temper will take you. So for those of us who get angry, even once in a while, here's a little message for you. Your temper will not take you to a better place, only an ugly one. Even if you don't get what you want, you will not enjoy it, because you'll be bitter and worked up until you get there. We must conquer our anger. We must master ourselves if we want to do greater things, if we want to be able to appreciate them when we do. So that's the message for today. This is where your anger will take you. I am Dr. Vibe, and always I like to say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourself grace. Thank you for watching live and on the replay. We will see you on Friday. And remember, as an entrepreneur especially, remember to give yourselves grace. We'll see you on Friday. Take care.